And while most of us are loving life without COVID restrictions, it's panic stations for the MSM and establishment as they launch another desperate attempt to regain control over our lives. First, it was announced by the NHS that Omicron-tailored booster jabs will be rolled out for over 50s from September. And never one to settle for obscurity, ex-Prime Minister Tony Blair made the ludicrous proposal last week that every adult be given another COVID vaccine. The left-wing media have also been piling on the pressure, with The Guardian propagating the views of doomsday scientists who say that we should ditch the COVID is over mindset to alarm people into getting their booster. Well, the ever-sensible Karol Sikora has offered up 5 reasons why the demand for boosters is severely mistaken. He says that 1, offering boosters are a waste of resources when clearing the NHS backlog should be the top priority. 2, vaccination does not reduce infection rate. 3, only those who are vulnerable require a booster. 4, there are serious adverse reactions to the vaccine, which, though rare, are still present. And 5, and finally, Tony Blair's intrusion into COVID vaccines is nothing more than delusional self-importance. Karol, why on earth would Tony Blair recommend that every adult be given another COVID jab?
I guess to get the publicity. It's just bizarre. I mean, 2 weeks ago, Dan, we had a woman on your programme, she wasn't on your programme, we showed a clip of a psychologist that said, we're going to have masks for the rest of till eternity. We're going to have social distancing till eternity. So it's so easy to scare the public, and it attracts media attention. Both Tony Blair and the psychologist produced no evidence for what they were trying to do. And that's the key. We have to have evidence. We've got very good evidence base in our NHS. There's an organisation called NICE, National Institute of Clinical Excellence, analyses data very thoroughly. And we see none of it with this. Just to come out, let's all have another booster for everybody, is completely crazy. The virus has mutated. It is infectious still, but it's much less damaging. There are less than 300 people on ventilators now. At the peak, there was something like 10,000 people on ventilators. It's changed. And we're developing a herd immunity, that dreadful phrase that came out at the beginning. What we don't need is Tony Blair coming out with his great ideas. I'd like to know who the immunologists and the vaccinologists and the infectious disease people the Tony Blair Foundation has consulted. This is just craziness to listen to this.
And Karol, I would love to know if actually the vaccines and the addiction that the establishment have got to vaccines are actually potentially doing more harm than good to our health, because New Zealand, currently in winter, I mentioned at the top of the show, that country is actually experiencing 7 times more illness this winter. That's illness overall, all forms of illness, flu and colds and all of it, 7 times more than in 2019.
I know. It changed the whole dynamic of infection. Minor infections that don't kill, but they make people leave work, they stay at home, so people lose jobs. They also make people feel unwell. And, we're now a different society than we were in 2019. People are still scared, and that's the problem. And this sort of thing makes people even more scared. Now, there is a place for boosters for those that are vulnerable, and people that are on cancer chemotherapy, people that are immunosuppressed and so on. That's completely correct. But to go around the whole of society insisting on it, and the next thing you know, you've got mandation coming in, mandatory vaccines. I've just come back from Canada last night, and they're still crazy there. You have to show your certificate in places, wear masks on planes and so on. And when you say, why are you still doing this? The infection rate in Canada is no different from here, yet people are stuck with it. It's a societal change that is very difficult to reverse. So the Tony Blair thing is just trying to impose a societal change on all of us without really any evidence for it.